Howdy folks, how we going? Welcome to the brewery. Tasting day on this fella. This is the Brick Road Columbus Red IPA, the revisited brew. I'll stick a link up to the original brew day videos. There's two. Originally I did this as part of Extravaganza late last year. This is the first Brick Road kit I got my hands on. That's actually the only one I've got my hands on so far. And I did an initial review when it wasn't particularly old, and I was saving it to do some further down the track. The brother-in-law and the son-in-law managed to drain the kegs one weekend while they were here unsupervised, and I didn't get around to do that second tasting because it was starting to improve a little bit. Fortuitously, the brother-in-law decided a couple of months back he wanted me to do a batch for him so he could put them all in his fridge. He liked it that much, so he bought me the can, and I brewed it up, bottled it up for him, and I kept two of these for myself so I could do some tasting. And now's the day. So this was originally batched up on the 6th of June. I'll send this video up the top there of the actual brew day, and I'll put it together. Goes through the whole story. So the Black Rock Red IPA 10, 1 Morgan's extra light malt. Originally the first batch I did with a Muntons can, which was the recommended can for the Brick Road kit. They had none of that in stock when the brother-in-law bought it, so we got a Morgan's can of the similar sort of thing. The Muntons can's actually a Marisota. This is extra light, so I imagine this should be just a little bit lighter. Added 500 grams of dry wheat malt and 500 grams of dextrose to bring the ABV up into, nice red IPA territory. There was 30 grams of Columbus chunked with the kit, which is steeped in the original batch, just on a short boil. So basically it was a 2-minute boil and essentially a sort of 90-degree whirlpool type of thing. Fermented with 1 pack of MJ M42 New World Strong Ale, which is the yeast that comes with the kit. Original gravity was 1064, made up to 21 litres. Fermented at 19 degrees with no pressure. It was left like that. It went for 13 days before I did anything with it, and what I did was added 30 grams of Simcoe, 20 grams of Chinook and 20 grams of Styrian Golding, because I had no Columbus. There's not much bloody gas in that, it's a bit of a concern. Anyway, there's some in there though. So on the 19th, after 13 days, she was pretty much finished. Added pressure up to 15 psi and cold crashed over a couple of days. Bottled on the 23rd of June, so it's like 7.5 weeks old. It's not quite 2 months. Final gravity was 1016 for an ABV of about 6.2, 6.3%. And that's her. As I said, I probably could have gassed it up a little bit higher on that pressure, but anyway, let's get a pour on. It's looking a bit bloody. So it almost looks sludgy. But she's got some head going. A bit of a pour. There's a little bit of crud on the bottom of the bottle, not much. It was a lot under pressure. I wouldn't have thought there'd be much there, but it's a big bottle. But anyway, that's it. It's I can see through it, but it's certainly not clear. Oh, it is, but it's a bit opaque from the like the. Well, there's a bit of crud there, I'm not sure. It's not real red, It's more a very dark amber than a red. Smells like raspberry cordial. Got a raspberry note to it. There's a little bit of sweet malt there. I can smell a little bit of the hops. Anyway, let's get into it. Right, okay, it's definitely got a better overall profile than what I did on that first tasting I did back on that old batch. I said, and that's why I was waiting long, because it was starting to develop. I think the original one I tasted was about three or 4 weeks old, and then over time it was getting a little bit better. Okay, it's got it's not riddled with any twang. There's a flavour there that I don't think is particularly attractive to me, but it's not standing out as being a bad flavour. There is some nice malt, there's some nice caramel there on the initial tasting. There's good hop presence. It's not outstanding. It's not really noticeable, but it's there, sitting against that, holding against the sweet malt. It's holding quite nice, and it's sitting quite good. You get that sweetness with the offsetting hops without having any punchy fruit flavours or anything like that coming from the hop. Those hops will probably come on as if you let it warm a little bit. But it's quite an earthy, a light earth. It's not a dirty, earthy note like you get with, say, Pride of Ringwood or something like that. There is a little bit of, there's a bit of a fruit vibe. It's almost, I suppose it is a bit berryish, which is weird because there's not really hops there that should be doing that. But I think it's picking up a bit of dank from the Simcoe, a little bit of fruit from the Chinook, a little bit of the earth from the Styrian, and it's all just sort of mingling together, making that sort of combined effort. So it's not coming across too badly, but it's not drinking too bad. It's definitely better than it was in that previous tasting. As I said, there've been a few minor changes from this recipe to that original one I brewed. This is a little bit lighter on overall body. I did I think it was about a 7.7% ABV on half of that batch and the smaller batch. So that may have thrown it a little bit. And again, I don't know how much positive impact it's had going from the Mutton's malt to the Morgan's. It's definitely not as deep either colour wise or malt wise as that original brew was. But again, I said that brew I'm pretty sure had a kilo of light dry malt. Where this one I went the wheat malt and the dextrose at 500 grams each and split that in half. So there is less malt, and I think the dextrose is helping stopping that big cloyingly deep feeling that was there. I think it's really working really well. Because it's big bodied, it's viscous, but it's not crazy at the same time. There's still enough stripped out of it. It's not, you know, coming across as just ridiculously sweet and crazy and heavy. Imposing a little, but it's not overpowering, which is good. So yeah, I think it's come up quite all right. I don't think it's a beer I'd be sitting down drinking a lot of myself. But I think the brother-in-law is going to really enjoy that. I think as far as, yeah, comparison to that previous brew which he enjoyed, I think he's going to like that. And like I said, I'm not getting anything like, but there's a tiny little bit of sort of twangy note on the very back palate, but it's only quite small, which is good. So that's a positive, a very big positive, because that's the big thing that we're having with these Brick Road cans. So I really need to get hold of some more. I've got a bit of a backlog of extractor cans I've got to get onto now that the twang files are coming to an end. And I can get back onto more brews. But yeah, that's not a bad crack out of Red IPA. And like I said, you could certainly play around with it a little bit and, you know, work with the hops, work with the malt levels and the balances to get where you wanted. Like dropping that tin of, you know, the tin of malt out and replacing that with a grain steep, and, you know, maybe getting a little bit more bread or malt in there, you know, would work. Getting a little bit more, but that's gonna bring it up even a little bit bigger. But as it is, yeah, I think it goes all right. So anyway, Brick Road Columbus Red IPA Extractor Gans, a revisit beer. I'll give it a thumbs up. As I said, I can't fault it. There's nothing specifically wrong with it. The flavour profile is going to be more acceptable to some people than others, but there's certainly nothing, you know, outwardly wrong with this beer. So that's a good thing. So anyway, guys, as always, comments and questions down the bottom. Patreons, thumbs up to you guys. Thank you very much for your support, as always. There's a link down the bottom of Patreon if you're interested. If you're subscribed to the channel, thank you. If you aren't, think about subscribing. Hit the button down the bottom, ring the bell. Get notified when there's new videos. And if you like the what's happening, give us a thumbs up. But for now, that's me. So until I see you on the next video, with brewing beer, drinking beer, or talking beer, good brewing.